Hello, crafty friends, and welcome back. I have a small format layout for Scraptember 2025 with the Scrappy Sisters. Today's prompt is texture paste. I'm using another paper from the Reminiscence book. Which one is it? I have it right here. I think it is book 6, if I can get my hands on it here. Yes, it's book 6. I don't know if it's still available in stores, but it is by Elizabeth Crafts. And so I did trim it down, or I am working on trimming it down to a 6x8 size to go in my Destin, Florida album. So there you can see that I actually had two different sizes of, well, I had the 6x8 snap album and I had the 6x8 flip album pages. And so if you're like me and mistakenly order the incorrect page refills and get the flip with the extra section in it, then those are always good to use within your bigger sized albums, that the holes still match up, but it doesn't matter width wise if it is longer or not. So this page I am documenting. One night we were waiting for everybody to come down so we could drive to dinner, and my mom noticed that her granddaughter, so Annie in the picture, was actually wearing a skirt that my mom once owned and had in a pile to go to the rummage sale. And Annie saved it because she thought it was cool. And so we laughed that mom's like, well, I never wore it like that. But it was cute when mom wore it, and it's still cute when Annie wore it. So years later, Annie is still getting some good out of it. And so I wanted to document that funny little story. But it didn't really need a full 12 by 12 size layout to tell this little story during our trip. So that is why I decided to use the 6x8 format here. And I had this scrap triangle piece of paper, and it is amazing how perfect everything matched up to get a full mat around each piece. So I had these little pieces cut off on each corner, and here I match it up for this particular corner that's missing, and this tiny little piece is going to cover that tiny little section at the top of this piece. And there you go. You can't even tell that I pieced it together. And so the reason why I used this particular piece, that it had that little, I guess, a model, or like a seamstress bodice that seamstresses use to while they're creating different pieces of clothing. And so my mom actually does a lot of sewing, and so I just thought that was cute to include on there. And I used this piece of ribbon with some tulle and made a little skirt on the pre-printed lady on the paper. So there you can see that I added my journaling on that black and white piece from 49 and Market. It was probably a piece from Gardenia. Same thing with that palette piece there. So I'm trying to get everything to attach together, but just barely. And I was having a little struggle there, but I did end up using some washi tape to get it to all stick before I stuck everything down to the page. And one last piece there, because I also want to put some ribbon in that piece up there, but so I wanted to check the spacing from top to bottom. And I'm also wanted them all together so I could draw around where it was going to be, so I could do my texture paste. So here I've got all the spacing of everything that's going to end up on the page, and now I'm going to start working on my texture paste. So this texture paste is actually starting to get a little bit dry. It still works just fine, but it works good if I'm adding in some color. And so here I'm adding a little bit waters to help activate the powder here within from Lindy's Magicals. So I had a couple different colors, and I got a little too much of the red from the glimmer spray. So here you can see I grabbed a paper towel and tried to wipe up some of the wetness there. And I'm checking just the color to see how it looks, and the pink matched up to those bright roses that were from, first I thought it was Prima, but I think it's actually an old Webster's Pages product there. So using my Dina Wakley magnetic board here and just spreading that, it'll be on just this right side here, and then I'm going to move my my stencil here so there's a little bit below where the photo and those flowers are going to be. So this is why this particular stencil actually is in 3 different places as well. It's got hearts in one section, stars in one section, and then circles in another. So I only had a small section of the stencil that I wanted to use. So here I'm adding some bright pink ribbon through the tag hole, but I didn't want to tie knots, so here I'm going to tie a little bit of black and white twine and tie a bow, and you will see me struggle. Why I had so much troubles getting this bow to tie. This twine was not cooperating, but I do eventually conquer the twine and get it to look like a halfway decent bow. And so now that I have that, I'm going to trim that off a little bit. And now I think I'm ready to go ahead and get that entire cluster onto my background sheet here. Just checking out, make sure I'm covering up all of my pencil marks. And I'm going to get that little tulle skirt onto my pre-printed lady. And I'm going to do the same with the roses here, but I do put this down first so the roses go over the top. And I'm gonna use some tear tape on that as well. Oop, got my skirt in there, had to dig that back out. And since this is going to be in a page protector, I wasn't too worried about using hot glue or anything to make sure it stays well. So I had originally thought I might put that black and white stripe to bring that black down to the bottom, but ultimately I decided that my title was going to be down in that area, and that would be sufficient to bring that black color down to the bottom as well. So my title is actually going to be The Skirt, and using 2 different packages of this letter sticker that somehow I ended up with 2. I think one came possibly in a kit somehow. And I'm using these new alphabet stamps from Lail by Mail that I've been kind of looking for some smaller text to do things like this particular. I didn't have enough small letter stickers to spell out the, and so this worked out perfect to add to my title here. So I stamped the word the, adding my foam letters in skirt, and that is pretty much going to wrap up this layout here. So if you have any questions for me, please feel free to leave those down below. Here are the close-up shots. There is a playlist down below of everybody playing along with Scraptember, so go ahead and check that out. Give them some love as well. And if you're new here, I would love it if you would give me a subscribe and a thumbs up if you like what you saw. So thank you for stopping by. We will see you next time. Bye.